Everything started in Jerusalem. I was just fascinated for something I really didn't understand then, but something which I believe understood me. I didn't wake up one morning thinking that I was going to undertake a journey. I believe that I was undertaken by this journey. I believe that we do what we do, not because of what we know about ourselves, but because of what we don't know, but by what we keep not knowing about ourselves. So it was an intuition, an inner call. It was in 1978. I was 18 years old. And it has been a journey of encounter, a journey of self-exploration, encounter with questions, and my camera was just a tool. I was not a photographer. And everything started, as I say, in Jerusalem, more precisely in Mea Shearim. And what fascinated me was not so much Jerusalem in the late 70s, but how a people recreated a shtetl in the heart of the Middle East, in the heart of Jerusalem, and how these people truly live in diaspora, how they live in exile at home. And Mea Shearim was in fact the matrix of my entire journey, which unfolded over 35 years, 40 countries. I said it was truly a fascination for something I didn't understood. And so I was wrestling with my history. This history which had been unspoken at home, buried, dissimulated, overcome. And it took about 10 years for the contour of this portrait to start appearing. And what I did, in fact, was piecing together a puzzle, an amazing puzzle made of all these many fragments which make the fabric of the Jewish people. My own puzzle, retrieving and reclaiming the many threads which weave the complexity of who I am, listening to the many voices which speak within me. And the more I was looking, searching for the common threads among the Jewish people, the more I was forced to recognize the discontinuity among the vast spectrum of expressions and representations of Jews and Judaism. What do all these people have in common but their differences? Kafka in his diary in 1904 say, "What do I have in common with the Jews? I hardly have anything in common with myself." The further I got, the closer I was getting to myself. Without knowing it, I was answering an injunction I had never heard. Lech lecha. Lech lecha, mi'artzecha u'mimolatecha mi'beit avicha. Go forth, leave your land, your kindred, the house of your father, and go to the place that I will show you. And the place is never named, as if it belonged to each of us to name it as we go there. And this is what I've been doing all along. But I got out of this journey in diaspora, totally confused, but on a higher level. And after I had questioned what it means to live in diaspora with a portable identity, I decided to question sovereignty as the new paradigm for the Jewish people. Israel as the great experiment of the Jewish people even in the 20th century. But Israel as place and metaphor. Israel as the place of the shared origin. Israel as the place where three monotheism, which gave birth to three major narratives, have been in conflict for the last 2,000 years. In other terms, Israel as the place where the maps of the sacred overlap, compete, and ultimately exclude each other. And to try to look at Israel beyond a dual perspective, for, against, victim, perpetrator, to try to look at Israel beyond the political narrative, not to ignore it or bypass it, but really look at the archaic stakes before it becomes political and religious. And when I say Israel as place and metaphor, the first metaphor has to do with Israel as a place of radical otherness, a place where every single person is the other of somebody else, close and far others. An Ethiopian for a Russian, a Moroccan for a German, an Arab Christian for an Arab Muslim, an Armenian for a Jew, etc., etc. And now, and only now, it became clear that that initiatory journey through diaspora was in fact an exploration of the diaspora within, my inner geography of my many selves. Fernando Pessoa, in his book of Disquietude, say, each one is various, many, an overflow of selves. In the outstretched colony of our being, all kind of people exist who think and feel in various ways. I needed to return to Jerusalem, not to undertake a mapping, but an archaeology of fear and desire, my own archaeology, an archaeology of myself. And as any good archaeologist, I needed to find a working hypothesis in front of the dig. And at the core of my working hypothesis, there is a promise attached to this land from time immemorial, for all its inhabitants. What have we done with this promise? What can we do with this promise? What will this promise do with us? The land I will show you, it is mentioned. The land I will give you to see, say the commentators. Not the land I will give you to possess. The land that should reveal you to yourself and to others. If not, it will maybe swallow us. This land, which is at the edge where the particular and the universal meet. This land where the personal and the collective merge. And what is this promise about? It is a promise of redemption. Again, it is the land I will give you to see. It is about an inner space. It is about an inner place. How could we think that it is only about a territory? It's about another field of consciousness, which has to be stretched in order to accept and to embrace. To embrace the unknown, to embrace the strange, to embrace the stranger, to embrace the stranger within. To embrace what I do not understand, to embrace the other. But before that, we need to recognize that we are multiple within ourselves, strangers even to ourselves. This is the ultimate promise and the only possible redemption. There is no other redemption other than embracing our own plurality, the selves that may be hostile, contradictory, exclusive, strong, vulnerable, enigmatic, and mysterious. But always moving, changing, in flux. This is the true meaning of intimacy. Intimacy as redemption, and redemption as intimacy. Coexistence starts within. It starts by creating enough room inside us for all our inner and outer conflicts, for all our contradictions. And that is the great challenge that Israel imposes on us. Israel is a place of radical otherness and unbearable dissonance. For me, otherness is neither philosophy or metaphysics. It is in each of us, It is in each one of all of you. An awareness of otherness begins by listening. Listening to the polyphony in each of us. Listening to the human polyphony on stage in Israel. I remain deeply grateful to all those who have triggered, stimulated, and nurtured my journey, this inner journey. Will we dare to believe in the possibility of love? This is our only obligation and responsibility today. Love as the ultimate act of resistance. Repairing the world begins by repairing the world in us. There's no other promised land. It belongs to no one and to everyone. It is everywhere, awaiting for our return.